The Grand Galactic Athletic Federation's annual strength tournament was the most prestigious sporting event in the known universe. Species from thousands of worlds competed in events designed to test the limits of physical capability. But for centuries, the competition had been dominated by the massive Kragnar from the high-gravity world Duricon 7. Until today, Ambassador Zilvox of the Galactic Council shifted nervously in his hovering chair as he watched the human representative approach the competition floor. The small bipedal creature, designated Morgan Reed according to the registration, looked absurdly frail compared to the other competitors. Standing at a mere 175 centimeters and weighing only 70 kilograms, the human appeared almost childlike, next to the hulking Kragnar champion, who stood 3 meters tall with quadruple-jointed limbs evolved for crushing prey. "This is highly irregular," whispered Council Member Tikatalin, his translucent membranes fluttering with concern. "Humans are from a Class 12 death world. Their participation could disrupt centuries of established athletic hierarchy. The rules allow any sapient species to compete," Zilvox replied, though privately he shared the concern. They passed the safety protocols. The tournament's first event was the gravitational press, a brutal test where competitors must withstand increasing gravity forces while maintaining perfect form. Most species tapped out at 4 or 5 times their homeworld gravity. The Kragnar champion Gorth typically dominated with his ability to withstand 12 times his native gravity, already an impressive feat considering Duricon 7's pull was twice that of standard worlds. Morgan stepped onto the platform wearing nothing but simple exercise clothing, no exoskeleton supports, no neural enhancers, no gravitational compensators. The human carried only a small water container, occasionally taking sips as if preparing for a light workout rather than a competition that had hospitalized unprepared competitors. "Human competitor," the automated system announced. "Your planet's gravity measurement has been calibrated at 9.8 meters per second squared. The test will begin at twice your native gravity. Please signal when you wish to terminate the test." Morgan nodded and took position on the marked circle. The gravitational field activated. 2 times Earth gravity. The human showed no reaction. 3 times. 4 times. 5 times Earth gravity. The audience murmured as Morgan simply stood there, occasionally shifting weight from one foot to another, looking almost bored. At 8 times Earth gravity, the point where most elite competitors would be struggling to remain conscious, Morgan began doing light stretches. "Is the system malfunctioning?" Tikatalin demanded. A technician ran a diagnostic. "No, Council Member, the human is actually experiencing the full force. At 12 times Earth gravity, the point where even the mighty Kragnar champion typically showed visible strain." Morgan began performing a series of fluid calisthenic movements. The audience fell into stunned silence. When the system reached 20 times Earth gravity, a force that would crush most known sentient beings into organic paste, Morgan was performing one-armed push-ups, breathing slightly harder, but otherwise unaffected. The system maxed out at 25 times Earth gravity, its absolute engineering limit, with Morgan still performing physical feats that defied comprehension. "I'm getting a bit of a workout now," Morgan called up to the officials. "Should I continue?" The officials, completely bewildered, had no precedent for this situation. The test was supposed to continue until the competitor signaled defeat, but Morgan showed no signs of reaching a limit. "The system cannot generate higher gravitational forces," the head official admitted. "The test is concluded." Similar scenes played out across all events. In the pressure chamber challenge, Morgan casually withstood pressures that would implode spacecraft hulls. During the strength displacement test, the human effortlessly moved objects that required industrial equipment for most species. In the endurance run, Morgan completed the course before most competitors had finished their first lap. By the tournament's end, the official scorekeepers had registered 17 new galactic records. The Kragnar delegation, their dominance shattered, lodged formal protests alleging performance enhancements or technological interference. Medical scans confirmed what humans had been telling the galactic community for years. They were naturally This resilient. In the council chamber afterward, the atmosphere was tense. I don't understand, said Tikatalan. Their planet's environmental parameters didn't suggest this level of capability. Silvox reviewed the data again. The previous assessment teams failed to account for the full spectrum of Earth's evolutionary pressures. It's not just the gravity, it's the combination of environmental factors. The atmospheric composition, the temperature variations, the planetary radiation, the diverse ecosystems. An elderly Voxian scientist named Trell, who had spent decades studying comparative xenobiology, finally spoke up. You're all missing the point. It's not that humans evolved on a Class 12 death world, it's that they thrived there. The chamber fell silent. Consider what that means, Trell continued. Most species evolved to survive their native conditions through specialization. The Kragnar developed their strength because they had to. Humans, however, developed versatility. They didn't just adapt to one niche, they conquered every ecological zone on their planet. Morgan entered the chamber, having been summoned by the council. The human looked almost comically small next to the towering alien diplomats and their various technological supports. Ambassador Reed, Silvox said formally, the council has questions about your species' capabilities. Morgan shrugged, taking a bite from an apple-like fruit from the refreshment table. We're just built different, I guess. Your physical capabilities exceed all known parameters for your planet's conditions, Tikatalan said accusingly. That's because we didn't just evolve to survive Earth, Morgan explained. We evolved to dominate it. Our ancestors weren't the strongest creatures on our planet or the fastest, or the ones with the sharpest teeth or the best camouflage. We were the ones who refused to accept our limitations. The human smiled, a gesture that still unsettled many council members with its display of teeth. We were the ones who looked at mountains and decided to climb them just because they were there. We were the ones who saw oceans and decided to cross them because we wondered what was on the other side. We were the ones who gazed at the stars and said, "Let's go there." Trell nodded thoughtfully. The human evolutionary strategy wasn't specialization, it was generalization. They didn't become perfectly adapted to one environment. They became adaptable to all environments. And that's why you can withstand forces that would kill most species? Silvox asked. Partly, Morgan said. But it's more than that. We train. We push our limits. We're never satisfied with good enough. When we reach what we think is our maximum, we try to go beyond it. The human took another bite of fruit. What you saw today wasn't some special human gift. It was the result of dedication, discipline, and a refusal to accept perceived limitations. As the council members absorbed this, Gorth, the defeated Kragnar champion, entered the chamber. His massive frame seemed somehow diminished now, his previous confidence replaced with something like awe. I wish to learn from the human, he announced formally. To understand this, training. Morgan extended a hand, a gesture that looked almost comical given the size difference. I'd be happy to show you. The first lesson is understanding that what you believe is impossible is usually just what you haven't tried hard enough to achieve yet. As the two competitors left the chamber, Silvox turned to his fellow council members. I believe, he said slowly, we need to reconsider our classification of humanity. They may come from a death world, but they've made the entire galaxy their playground. Trell smiled. And I suspect that's just the beginning of what they'll show us. Behind them, Morgan was already teaching Gorth about the concept of personal bests and something called leg day. The galactic strength records, it seemed, were about to be shattered all over again.